Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Toya, and thanks for returning back because I have an interesting story time that I want to share with you guys. It may be kind of lengthy, but I know, like, ain't that what story times are supposed to be about? Okay, but anyways, okay, so I don't even know where I'm going to start. I didn't take any notes on this. I might be jumping back and forth, but it's a good story time, and it's something that people need to hear, definitely, because it has to do with, you know what I'm saying, life, family, being a mother, children, and just people that just ain't good for you, right? Okay, so let me see where I'm gonna start off with this one. All right, so I got this guy, right? I call him my Uncle Colin. And I call him my Uncle Colin because when I was 18, he showed up at my mom's house or whatever. And that's what my mom told me to call him. Call him, you know, this is her friend from a long time ago. So, you know, that's what we end up doing. We end up calling them our uncles, right? Or our aunts or whatever. So I call my Uncle Colin. So I'm going to take you back to a couple of years ago, right? Right? Okay, so back then, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Back then, he took a liking to me. I mean, I am the youngest and I'm the most outgoing out of my mom's kids. I mean, opposed to my brother, but my brother's a different kind of outgoing. So he gave me his Hummer to drive. Me at 18 driving a Hummer, age 2. And I was the shit. You know I was, you know what I'm saying? And I did a little bit of work for him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Got into a relationship, whatever. Not with my uncle, but I got into a relationship with a guy, whatever. And then my uncle had to take a trip to the Bahamas one day. And he took a trip to the Bahamas, and then the feds got him. I don't know why the feds got him. I thought that it was like drug related or something like that. So he took a trip to the Bahamas, and the feds got him, so I had to turn in the truck. So I had to take the plates off. I had to take all my stuff out of the truck or whatever the case is. So that's what happened. So then he went to the feds for like 10 years. I continued to live my life or whatever, got into a relationship, had more children, And while I was up in Georgia, my mom called me one day and was like, oh yeah, your Uncle Colin is out. He wants to give you a car and whatever. But I was in Georgia and I wasn't really fucking with my family because I was going through some things then, and they just wasn't understanding. They weren't helping. And then on top of that, I wasn't sharing because, like me, I'm the type to, I'm going to figure that out on my own. I'm going to figure it out on my own. I wasn't going to tap and call and be like, hey, come and save me. I had to work that shit out myself, which I give myself a pat on the back because I did a really good job. Although I went through some really, really, really hard stuff, I made it out. So I congratulate myself on that. But anyway. Okay, so now I live here in Tennessee or whatever, and my oldest son lives in Florida. So I went to Florida in October of 2022 to go and visit my son for his birthday. He was going through some things. I needed to see him for a couple of days. So while I was down there, my Uncle Colin reached out to my mom, or my mom told my Uncle Colin that I was in town, and he reached out and he took me to breakfast one day. He took me to lunch one day downtown or whatever. Really big, huge spread. I believe I got like some chicken and waffles, and I got some comforters. That shit was bussin'. You hear me? If I knew the name of the place, I would definitely tell you, but I don't remember. But it was good anyway. So we were there, we were talking. I was telling him about, you know, my life or whatever and what I was going through. And at that time, I just got my own place because I just got out of a 13-year relationship. So it was just me by myself. And that's another pat on the back that I got to give myself because I leveled up, like, on my own. You know what I'm saying? I manifested some shit and it came to pass, and, you know, I'm grateful. So anyways, he was like, I remember, like, when I was 18, he would say stuff like, oh, I'm your dad. And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like, well, I ain't say that to him, but to me, I'm like, you're not my dad. And even if we were to get a DNA test, I know my dad. And my dad is my dad regardless. So I don't know what you got going on, but okay, that's what you want to say. And I remember bringing it up to my mom, and mom's like, I don't even know what he's talking about. Like, what is he talking about? So I'm like, I don't know. That's your business. But when you was younger doing whatever you was doing, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I know who my dad is, right? So anyways, he's like, oh, do you feel a connection with me or whatever? And I was like, no. Like, what type of connection, like, what kind of connection do you want to feel? Like, I know everyone is connected in some type of way. You know, everything and everyone is connected. But the connection that you talking about, we ain't got that kind of connection, homeboy. But anyways, I identify him as my uncle. And I always say, you know, I love you when we got off the phone because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I love everyone, even my enemies. So I don't have a problem telling people that I love them because I genuinely do. I love everyone. So, it was time for me to go home, and my son was supposed to come with me, but he changed his mind. So, but when I set up my ride to go to the airport, my Uncle Colin was like, oh, he'll take me, and Amor. So I was like, okay. Amor is my oldest son. That's his name. My love. But then he ended up going, so then not going. So he brought me to the airport or whatever. And he was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'll help you with whatever you got to deal with, whatever. And me thinking he want to help me because he's thinking he's my dad. And I'm like, okay, you want to help me? I'm not going to turn down no help. You know what I'm saying? My feminine energy, I need to receive, you know what I'm saying? 606 as I say that. But, yeah, so I got on my flight or whatever, and he kept in touch or whatever. And he was like, oh, send me some, hold on. So, wait a minute. While I was down there, right, my homegirl Nicole linked up with me, and she was like, oh, I got an extra ticket to the Keith Sweat concert. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, because when I started to go down there, I put a post on Facebook like, hey, I'm going to Florida. If anybody wants to link and go to the beach, let me know. And my homegirl Fredessa, she did link up with me, and we did end up going to the beach. I'll see if I can post some pictures. She's like really good with like putting together like amazing spreads of stuff. So I'll see if I can like put the pictures up here somewhere. I'm not really into that whole editing thing. I like for my videos to be like raw and real, but I'm gonna try some shit. If I don't, hey, my bad, y'all. But I mean, she really lays it down when it comes to it. So when I went out there, it was like so beautiful, and it was exactly what I needed for my spirit, because it's like for someone to go above and beyond that I haven't seen in over 15 years, and we just link up and you do all of this, like that was like really magical for me. So shout out to you, Fredessa. You to go when it comes to like party spreads and setting up shit like that. But anyways, okay, so when I came back, no, I'm still not done. Hold on. So back to the to the Keith Sweat concert, right? So I wanted to go to the Keith Sweat concert, so I called my uncle and I was like, hey, I'm going to the Keith Sweat concert, but I need some money to go buy an outfit. He was like, all right. I was like, but I have such and such in my account. He was like, all right, go ahead and buy it, and I'll send you back the money for it. So he was like, but I want to see a picture of what you're wearing or whatever. So I didn't buy anything major. I just went to Ross and I bought a brown dress, and I bought some brown and white Guess shoes. I'm gonna see if I can put that picture up here because Auntie was looking cute. You hear me? Okay. Anyways, I never called them back to give me the money for the outfit, because it was only like, I only paid like $45 for it. It wasn't nothing like big or whatever. So when I came back to Tennessee, he was like, oh, where the pictures at or whatever. So I sent him the pictures or whatever. And then he was like, oh, well, you know, do you have any pictures of the kids? I want to see the kids. Like, you know, he never met my kids, because remember I told you, am I talking fast, you guys? Let me try to slow down. So, he was like, see, I can't even talk slow because it's like weird for me. Anyway, y'all, I talk fast, so y'all get it. Anyways, so he was like, oh, send me pictures of the kids, because I never seen the kids, because remember he was in Feds for 10 plus years, and then I moved to Georgia, and then now I'm here in Tennessee. So I was like, okay, so I sent him the pictures of my kids, right? Because remember, I'm thinking that we're family and there's a relationship there, because there are some people that you have in your family that are friends that are like family. You know what I mean? So I sent him the pictures of the kids, and then he started like sending me money to like help me, because I told him that, you know, it was just me and I was doing it, and he was like, you know, praising me, I'm bigging me up or whatever, and was like, oh, he'll help me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he sent me $100 here, $200 there, and I remember I needed to get my kids beds. Like that was my goal, to get my kids beds. So I asked him, I said, are you still gonna help me with the kids beds? So he was like, yeah, he'll send me some money and he'll buy the girls beds, and I'll just buy the boys beds, and then that's how we split it. But he specifically said he'll buy the girls beds. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't say anything to it. I told him how much the beds would cost, because my 2-year-old, I want to get her a toddler bed, but you know the toddler beds don't come with the mattresses, so I had to buy the bed and the mattress. and stuff like that. So anyway, he sent me $300 for my girls' beds, and I was like, yes. But at the time, I didn't even get a chance to buy my girls' beds because my light bill was due, because something happened like with the circuit, and then it was like winter time, so the heater was running all day on a constant. Like, it was running, because it be cold as shit in fucking Tennessee. And remember, I'm from Florida, we don't get cold like that, but Tennessee, shit. Excuse me. Anyway, so he's always talking about, oh, when am I gonna come back to Florida so that he can see the kids then, whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, I was gonna buy a ticket in December, but then all of a sudden when I went to go buy it, the tickets then skyrocketed. So I was like, I can't do it. And remind you, it's gonna be 5 of us, because I have 4 kids that live here in Tennessee with me, so it'll be tickets for 5 people. So it was like pretty, the price of the tickets was up there. And mind you, I'm doing it all by myself. So my cousin Tyrone, he got married to a beautiful girl named Crystal. I love you, Crystal. Like, she's freaking awesome too. I'm glad that she's in my family, and she's been in my family for a long time, but they just got married. And he was saying that they're gonna be doing something special for their wedding, like the reception. They're gonna keep it in May. So I was telling him that I'll probably be down there in May for that or whatever. So he's always pressing me about when am I coming down or whatever the case is. And I was telling him, okay, so fast forward. So last month, I decided to take my kids on a vacation. So I took them to Panama City Beach, which is in Florida, which I didn't even know nothing about no goddamn Panama City Beach, because I'm from the bottom, and I ain't never heard nothing about no damn Panama City Beach. So anyways, I'm driving down there. I got my kids. I just took my oldest kids, and then my boyfriend, he took his 2 oldest kids. So we went down there to have, like, a nice, like, 5 or 6 day vacation down there. So anyway, like maybe like a week or 2 before our scheduled trip, my mom calls me, and this might be TMI, but I was on my cycle, and my cycle was like off as shit. Like I was bleeding more than normal. So I remember I got on the phone with my mom, and I'm in the bed talking to my mom, whatever, and then I changed it to video call so that she can see my 2 youngest kids. They were in the bed with me, and to talk and to see their nana, because they never really see her because of where I live. So I'm laying down, and I put the video on, and she's like, what she said? She said, oh, what's up with your hair? So I'm like, okay. So I ignore it or whatever. So she's still talking to them or whatever. And then I get up to go into the kitchen, and I say, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I said, like, I'm bleeding more than normal, Mom. And mind you, my mom is a nurse. She's been a nurse for 30 something years, right? So she doesn't say anything to that. So then I'm like doing something in the kitchen, and I put my phone on top of the microwave, and I'm still video chatting her, and she's like, ugh, do you have to do your lip like that? And I'm like, I said to her, you know what? You should really enter a criticizing contest, because you would like totally freaking win. You would totally win. And she's like, what? I said, did you not hear that I said, oh my gosh, mommy, I'm bleeding more than normal. What is going on? But instead, you just want to keep like criticizing everything that I got to say. Oh, you need some earrings. Oh, what's up with your hair? Oh, why do you have to do your mouth like that? So she's like, after I said, well, I didn't say that little part, like, oh, your hair, oh, you're eating earrings, whatever. So I'm just quiet, and I'm like, you should really enter a criticizing contest, because you would definitely win. Like, you would absolutely win. So then there's a pause, and she says, well, I mean, do you have to do your lips like that? So I was still quiet, and I'm just doing whatever I gotta do. And she hangs up the phone. So she hangs up the phone, and I don't call her back, because I mean, you just hung up on me, right? So then she texts me, and she's like, oh, we've been going back and forth like this for years. I can't do it anymore. I'm done with it. So I was gonna text her back. Like, I text her back, but I didn't send it. And this is what I sent her. I said, you're done with me because I pointed out that you constantly criticize me. But I didn't even send the message. I just deleted it or whatever. So anyways, so now I'm on my trip and we're driving down to Florida. It's an 8-hour drive. So I'm talking to my man, we vibing, we playing like old school jams, we playing like Sammy type shit, like I like the way you look at me, I like the time we spend, baby, I like what we have grown to be, I like it, girl. Like, we jamming, right? So my mom calls me and I egg the call because it's a whole freaking vibe right now. And then my uncle calls me. And then I send him that quick message like, I'll text you later or I'll call you later or whatever. So boom, that happens. And then I get a text message back from him that says, Jerome, we really need to find out or figure out a way to get her and the kids here now. I'm not playing around. I really need to see them. And then, like, you know, like how when it says a text message, you can see a little bit of it, and you have to like draw down the screen to like really read it. I just saw that and I thought that it was a typo. I didn't really read it or whatever. All I saw was like the part where it said, Jerome, we really need to figure out how to get her and the girls down here. But I'm vibing, I'm not even paying attention, so I messaged back okay. But then I got like a real nasty pit in my stomach, like I felt nauseous as shit. So I'm like, hold on. So I opened the message fully and I'm reading the message and I'm like, what the fuck? So I text him back, yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen. And to be honest, that's some really creepy ass shit. So we need to end this relationship right now. So don't ever call or text me ever again and stay the fuck away from my mom and my sister. And I said, and I mean that shit. And I put the 100, right? Like, I wasn't even playing. So then I text my mom and I text my sister to stay away from Colin. And I mean it. Do not talk to him, period. So my sister texts me back and she's like, Toya, is this you? And I said, yeah, it's me. And she was like, oh, okay. So then my mom calls me and I'm still vibing, but I answer because I just sent her this message and I said, I can't really talk right now because I'm in the car with a bunch of kids right now, but I'll tell you later, but just stay away from him. So I ended the call, right? So then when I got to the hotel, I called my mom and I was telling her, like, I told her exactly what happened. I read her the message or whatever. And she's like, who is Jerome? I said, I don't know. But stay away from him because that's like, I said, my intuition was like going off. Stay away from him because my mom has my niece at the house and my niece is like 7. And I remember when I was down there, my Uncle Colin pulled up and my niece ran out and jumped on him and he's like holding her and hugging her. And it was my mom and my sister in the house. And I guess they thought that I wasn't finna say nothing because he was standing right there. But I kindly let my niece know, don't you ever run up to somebody that you do not know. 1, allow them to pick you up. 2, I said, you're a little girl and there are people out here that are not nice and I will take advantage of you. I said, so we don't do that, okay? Like, you don't sit in nobody's lap. I don't care who it is. You do not sit in somebody's lap and you have to be careful, okay? Like, I said it real gentle because, you know, she's 7 and me, I was molested when I was younger and I know how that can really mess a child up because that takes away their innocence. You know what I mean? So I had to like really let her know. And I think my mom was taken aback by it. Like, oh, she said that in front of him. But it's like, why are we sugarcoating it? Like, as a grown man, he need to know too. Like, you don't worry about stuff like that. People thinking like, oh, you know what I mean? As a grown man, like, you should know better. You should know better as a grown ass man that you shouldn't be picking up no little girl like that. Period. Especially if she don't know you and you do not know her. Anyways. So I told my mom or whatever. She's like, oh, well, who is Jerome? I said, well, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying, that's some creepy stuff. Like, you don't do that or whatever. And I was like, yeah, don't talk to him ever again. And she was like, well, I'll think about it. Okay, you do that. That's your decision. But as for me, I will not be speaking to that man ever again, period. There's no ties to me. Like, I'm not finna be hurt by disconnecting from him. There's no, like, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you trying to hold on to this relationship so bad? What, because he buys you food every now and again? Like, it ain't that deep, right? So I carry on with my day, and then that night I call my daddy, because that's why I remember their relationship stemmed from, was when my dad was here in America. My dad lives in Jamaica now. So I called my daddy and asked my daddy, I said, who is he? So I said, who is Colin? He said, no, Colin, my brother. So I said, no, not your brother. I said, the cross-eyed one. He said, the cross-eyed one? I'm gonna say, yeah. So he told me the story. He said, you remember there was a Christmas where you guys didn't get any gifts? I don't remember that, because my childhood, you know, I block out some things from my childhood. But I remember my childhood, we always had gifts. Always. I'm talking about big, huge boxes of, like, the way that they used to do it was, they went and they bought all of us clothes. It was 5 of us and 5 kids in the house. They bought all of us clothes and got a big, huge, like, refrigerator box or deep freezer box and put all of our new clothes in it and wrapped it up. We always had lots of gifts, lots of toys, all kinds of things, big, huge Christmas tree or whatever. That's how they used to do it. That's how they used to do it for us or whatever. He was like, he said he went in the house and he stole at least $30,000 in cash from my dad, stole all of my dad's clothes and my dad's shoes. He stole my brother's clothes and my brother's shoes, Claudia, my oldest brother, and then he burned down the front door. So, or he set the front door on fire so that my dad couldn't, no, I'm lying. Hold on. I just know that he set the front door on fire. I may be talking about another incident when something happened to the house or whatever. So my daddy was like, that man right there is my biggest enemy till this day. He said, if I ever see him, it's going to be problems, right? So I was like, okay. So I said, Daddy, I asked my dad this question. I was like, I said, what's mommy's problem with me? Because it seems like she doesn't like me. And he told me, he was like, your mom never liked me. Like, meaning my mom never liked me. I said, well, why? He said, because you are more like me. So she never liked me. Which, it's like fucked up, because I remember when my grandmother passed, love you, Grandma. My grandmother passed and I went down to the funeral. My mom was being real nasty with me, and I just chalked it up to, you know, my grandma passing and she was sad and upset. But I remember texting my cousin and I was like, it's real fucked up when your own mother doesn't like you, because we went through something to where it was just like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I didn't do anything. I was just going to get the kids and taking them to the park. Like, but she had like a problem with it. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's another story. So I was like, oh, well, shit, that makes sense. That why she doesn't like me, and why she favors my sister, because my sister is more like her. So whatever. So anyway, so when I talked to my mom before that, right, she called and she was like, oh, hey, such and such and such and such, as if she didn't just say, oh, she's done with me. It's like, there's no accountability, there's no apologizing, there's no none of that with her. She just made it seem as if it was like regular. So it was like, at that moment I knew, like, yeah, I can't deal with this. Like, there's no benefit to us having a relationship. Yes, you're my mother and I love you, but I'm just gonna love you from afar, and I'm not really gonna help you like how I used to. Like, she would always call me for everything. Oh, Toya, can you fill out an application for me? Oh, can you make my cover letter for me? Oh, can you make my resume for me? Oh, can you do this? Oh, can you do that? And it's like, well, damn, I live hundreds of miles away and you got your favorite over here, and you don't never ask her for nothing. And when you do ask her, you come in, you complain to me about, oh, she do this and she did, and it's like, but that's who you cherishing, that's who you exalting, that's your ace boon cool, but you always call me when you want something done, right? So anyway, I haven't really talked to my mother since then, but I've been thinking about a lot of things. I've been thinking about life and generational wealth and like pouring back into my children and raising them the correct way, and just like where I want them to be later on in life and how I need to really establish that type of foundation for them. You know what I mean? So I called her today and I said, hey mom, do you have life insurance? And she's like, yeah, I have life insurance. She was like, why? You wanna kill me off? And I said, no, I would never do that. I'm just saying, like, you know, we have to really put those things in place because you are older and you never know. So it's like, if that day came, I want to make sure that we have the funds to give you a proper burial, exactly how I know you deserve. You know what I mean? And not saying that she deserves a horrible one because of how she treats me. It's like, as a person, as my mother, like, and as a human being, it's like, yeah, I would like to give you a proper burial, not have to argue about where money finna come from, not have to go and set up a GoFundMe account and things like that. Not saying anything about anybody else that has to do that. I'm just saying that for me, I would rather have everything situated to where it's a breeze and I don't have to worry while I'm also mourning the death of my mother or something like that. But anyway, she said she have life insurance. I was like, okay, cool. So then she asked me about my son or whatever. She said she's gonna drop some food over to my son. She was like, call him. So I'm gonna call him and he didn't answer. But I was like, I'll text him and just tell him, because my oldest son, he be having all kinds of shit going on and he don't answer, so I gotta text him and he'll call me back. Like, he just sent me a request for $25. Oh, you want me to send you $25, but your ass can't answer my phone call. Anyway, I'm gonna talk to him about that later. So anyways, she on the phone or whatever, and she's like, oh, you talked to Colin? And I said, no. I told him don't ever call or text me again. I said, what's the story behind him? Like, to see what she's gonna tell me. And she was like, what's the story behind you? Lady, I'm not the one that brought this man into the conversation. You did. Like, what? Yeah. But anyway, before that, I started like thinking about like all of this stuff, and I'm like, this motherfucker is grooming me. He's grooming me. He's taking me out to eat. He's listening to what I got going on, knowing that, well, back then I didn't have a man, knowing that I ain't got a man and it's just me by myself and it's me and my kids. And he does Uber and Lyft from the airport. So this whole, like, I'll be thinking like, so he could be picking up people, talking to them, because he liked to talk, getting all the information, knowing if they stand by themselves or if they with a man, and how many kids they have, and how old are the kids, whether they male or female, all this other stuff. And he could be calling Jerome and telling Jerome all the business, and Jerome might be going down there swiping, picking up people's kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, damn. So it could be, I say that to say this: be careful. Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you call family. Be careful who you give these titles to, because some of these motherfuckers ain't right. And if I would have got on a flight with my 4 kids, right? 2 boys and 2 girls. Like he said, he want to talk to the little one. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys that. Then he sent another message after that, okay. And he said, I really want to see the little one. I really want to talk to her. Meaning my youngest daughter, who is 2. What the fuck? So it's like, that's some shit. Because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I look good. You know what I'm saying? I look good. And there's a lot of men that always look at me, and I just be like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Men are visual creatures. They like to look. I can't take that away from them. You know what I mean? But it's like, if I would have went down there, what would happen to my girls? What would happen to my boys? Because if he just wants the girls, what would they do to my boys? Kill them? You know what I mean? It's like, what would they do to me? So I'm grateful that I was an actual hero and advocate for my children. And I'm grateful that the divine made him text me instead of texting Jerome. Because I probably would have still been naive, like, yeah, he finna send me money so I could go down there, and he would have, and then it's like, I would have put myself in a horrible situation. So I'm grateful for the divine. I am grateful for my intuition. I am grateful for just being a loving and caring mother to my children, and not putting myself or money in front of my kids' happiness and my kids' innocence and their joy and their peace. I'm so grateful for that. So I say this, y'all, be careful. Be careful who you call your people. Be careful. Like, for real. Because the people who you think are supposed to love you unconditionally, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. So cherish those who really love you for you and that want to see you win at all costs, for your greatest and highest good, for the good of all and harm to none. So that's my little story time for y'all. I did try to get in contact with the authorities to try to see if something could have been done, but they said that, yeah, it does definitely sound like he was grooming me. They said, but at this point there's not enough information to go off of to investigate or to even arrest him. So I just say this, my intention is for this video to get to the people who it needs to get to protect them and their children, and also to anybody that wants to, like, really look into what's going on. So if you are in a position to where you can investigate and want to, like, really dive into it, whether you're a journalist, a detective, or just whatever, you can reach me. You can email me at chonaturalglow@gmail.com. That's CHONATURALGLOW@gmail.com. And if you need any information regarding what's going on, just let me know. This situation took place in Broward County, Florida. So if you are from Broward County and something like this has happened to you, or, you know what I'm saying, shit, you know a goddamn Jerome and you wondering about Jerome, you know what I mean? Like, but this video will not get to anyone that will harm me or my children or the people that I love and care about, my family, at all. So yeah, that's my intention behind this video. So if you're seeing this video, yeah, it's for you. It is definitely for you. And you probably have, like, a little pit in your stomach, like you was wondering about somebody. This video is for you. Okay? Anyways, love you. Bye. Oh yeah, and don't forget, I gotta say this, don't forget, please, 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 don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share. Sharing does way more because it allows me to, like, get to people who need to hear it. So if you got somebody that you got in mind too that you think need to hear this story, go ahead and share it to them real quick, and like and subscribe, because help a sister out, help your girl out. Okay, please, please, please help me out. Anyway, let me stop being goofy. All right, y'all. So I love you guys. And also, like I always say, any advice that I have for myself is, I always say that wrong. Any advice that I have for you is also advice that I have to take for myself. So, hey, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Give yourself all of the love that you know that you deserve on a constant basis. And don't let nobody let nobody try you, period. And you got to understand that that doesn't have to be mean or malicious. You just got to, I would say it with love, like, no, or no, you know, but care for yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, and know who you truly are. Always come back to yourself, meditate, talk to the divine, talk to yourself, and love you. Bye.